To scrap, sir.
Now that is not to say that there isn't still merit to the Donald and Douglas two-parter. I definitely still enjoy it. And as a kid, I had no clue that something was cut here. But, knowing all of this information now, in retrospect, it's definitely apparent that something's missing when rewatching the episodes. And it's kind of trippy thinking how this shot of Thomas passing the camera, and then the slow zoom in on the brake van, was likely meant to be the opening shot of
I have
Brake
a new
Van.
revised controller.
One of the biggest and longest lasting diverges from the
Hello, how
original
you
book
doing?
is that Donald and Douglas never get repainted blue at the end. In the TV series, the two consistently continue to wear their VR black, and this was likely done to make them stand out a bit from the already existing three other blue main characters at the time. Personally, I'm a bit torn on this. I think the black definitely makes them stand out more, but there is something really satisfying seeing the twins get to wear the color that they've always wanted. I think, character-wise, blue means more. Funnily enough though, the blue paint is used in various other media tied with the TV series, notably the story library books. This is so trippy, seeing the TV versions of the twins in blue, especially in stories that are based on TV exclusive episodes. It's a weird little blend of both worlds here. I also feel I'd be doing the twins a disservice by not mentioning their amazing theme music by Mike O'Donnell and Junior Campbell. This music is tied to these two. Everyone always thinks that triumphant bagpipe fanfare at the start when they think Donald and Douglas. Their theme sounds like a march, which is pretty fitting. A march might make one think of pride and order, standing together, unity. And that's Donald and Douglas' story in a nutshell. One would never abandon the other, no matter the cost. No man left behind. Moving into Season 3, and I think this season might have been the best usage of Donald and Douglas in the whole series. This season, the two really felt like part of the main cast, showing up and as their own characters separate from each other. In fact, there is not a single episode this season where the two actually speak words to each other. The phrase, Donald and Douglas, is literally only said once this whole season.
Donald and Douglas will miss their turntable until it is mended.
It's one of those things that you cannot unnotice once you notice it. They are both treated as individuals, and each get their own starring roles apart from each other. Donald got Donald's Duck this year, and Douglas got Escape. Let's talk about Escape. With the missing coach gone now, how does one go about adapting Escape? The two stories are thematically connected. Douglas having escaped Scrap is the whole reason why he was chosen to be the main character of this story, after all. So, what did the show crew do? They wrote a brand new intro to the story. Instead of tying it back to the missing coach, now Trevor is involved, and it's all related back to his story of being saved in Season 2.
How you doing?
There's actually a lot I like about this. It manages to get Edward into this story now, and it gives him a strong character moment, calling Douglas out on his BS.
Trevor and I are old friends, and you and he have a lot in common too.
And I love this reaction that Douglas has to the word scrap.
We do, quizzed Douglas. And what would that be? Scrap, said Edward quietly. Douglas gasped. Don't mention that word. It makes me wheels wobble.
Perfectly in character.
Won't break.
Now, does this change make the story better?
Oh no,
Well, that's a good question. And I think there's merit to both ways that it is presented. No doubt that the original version of the story carries more emotional weight with Douglas returning the favor, but the new opening makes for a better setup in an episode of television.
Okay, jokes aside, it didn't break.
Jumps straight into
It's an Earl Diesel.
which is fine for a third
No, it's
story
aside because I don't have my visual adults. I didn't want to miss them all.
We have some setup and build up to the big escape sequence now. With the missing coach gone, I don't blame the show team at all for this change.
I don't check our
And I
channel
think that they did the
because
best
my
they could,
account is not
given the
verified for my channel on
circumstances.
YouTube.
It does
So I
not
can't go
negate
past
how
50 minutes on
spectacular
videos.
of an episode Escape
So sometimes you have
is.
to make
It's
cartoons.
truly one of the series' best efforts.
Or in the forms.
Following Season 3, the twins fell into the background a bit, much like Edward and Duck did. They were frequent constants, popping up to give their 2 cents on situations or be involved in group scenes. But for the most part, their stories had been told, and so they took a back seat for other characters to get the spotlight. Notably though, Donald got a whole music video dedicated to him in Season 5, revisiting his friendship with his duck, Dilly. Dilly had not been mentioned once since Donald's Duck, nor at all since, so this song feels pretty out of nowhere. I can't help but love it. affection that Donald has for this little fowl is so cute. And it shows that even a hardened
No,
Scottish man like him
fat
is a bit
man,
of a softie.
With US Cellular Prepaid, you get reliable nationwide 5G coverage.
At Marshall's, our buyers hustle 24/7, so you never have to compromise on quality or price. We're getting you a better deal because we believe that everyone deserves the good stuff.
I have to hold this.
Planned Parenthood offers birth control
I have to
online.
hold this.
You'll have a visit with a provider and we can see you in person if needed. Planned Parenthood is in-network for most insurance and offers affordable pricing. Make an appointment at ppncs.org/online.
Season 6. I think this is where a turn began.
Oh,
The two returned for their first starring role since Season 3, Twin Trouble, which is a story about the two falling out after an accident.
You shouldn't have pushed me into the cart, huffed Donald. You pulled me, argued Douglas. Didn't he? Did.
Now, I don't consider this a bad episode or anything. I think having a story where the two are mad at each other is perfectly fine. It's something that they haven't done before this. And I quite like how Duck is worked into it, being this median between the two. But, with this episode, a new precedent was set. From this episode onwards, it's treated as a rule that Donald and Douglas are never seen apart. And when they are apart,
What the fuck?
they miss each other. But when they are together, they bicker.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry, said Douglas. I'm sorry.
The official Writer's Bible, based on Season 6, even specifically mentions that they are now very codependent, and it would be exceptional to have one included in a scene without the other, and just as exceptional to have only one speaking. If you get Donald, you get Douglas too. I find this a weird place to take them because we've seen in many past episodes that the two work just fine without the other pretty frequently. Seriously, where do they come up with this stuff? They're not a Bill and Ben, for example, where they work in a designated area together and do the same job, where it would make sense for them to appear together all the time. Ironically, around the same time that they started making Donald and Douglas inseparable, Bill and Ben, meanwhile, were starting to be split apart. In the same season, they gave us a solely Bill-focused episode, and later we see Ben appear without Bill a few times in the hit era. Bit of a weird inverse, isn't it? I feel like this simplifies Donald and Douglas too much to a degree. They're brothers, and to really hone that in, I think they felt they had to
Get out of here,
always
Crank!
appear
Nobody asked
together,
me to speak!
as if kids would be confused if they only saw one. As we'll see later on in the show, this always having Donald and Douglas together
One
will
second,
create
y'all.
some
I'm gonna put this
limitations with how their characters
doofus
are
that we call Crane back on his
That
superstation.
being
Man.
said, later in the season, Percy talks about some of the weird phenomenons that he saw go down at the old mine, and Donald and Douglas explain it away, being naughty gnomes playing tricks on him.
It's the naughty gnomes, teased Donald. We find them a big feat that make strange things happen, said Douglas. It's legendary.
This is a pretty fun revelation, showing us a more spiritual side to the twins.
Got a
They
better idea
believe
for
in the
cranes.
supernatural. This is played with again in Season 7, when one
have
declares belief in
Owen
a Loch
here.
Ness-type monster living in the loch at Callan Castle.
Okay, put it with the Colton sound effects.
Get ya, teased Douglas. He might, said Donald. There's no monster. There is too.
This was a fun little Loch Ness monster adventure story with the twins.
Apologies
I
to
like
the Thomas
homage to
Adventure
their
channel
roots
for
by
using their sound
associating them with the
when I'm like a
Scottish
tongue for using
castle,
his sound
and
without
it's nice
permission.
reveal that they
Apologies to you,
Scotland.
man. I've used it before.
Sometimes they
Apologies to
long
Scotty
for
Will as well.
Scotland.
I don't think I care, and I'm just gonna say that. I'm just gonna bring that up.
Which, I'm sure that's been inferred by
And I don't think
everyone.
anyone else would
Like,
care.
of course they missed their old home. But it's nice to hear it stated, at least. We all know that Season 8 is when the big changes happened. Hit Entertainment came in, made all these changes to the show, yada yada. We all know what went down here. Most of these supporting cast just sort of disappeared this season, with no explanation. Donald and Douglas, though, were still kind of around, lurking about, existing, just off screen. They weren't dropped
way!
completely like Duck and some others were, which is kind of strange. They got a random out-of-the-blue, out-of-place mention in You Can Do It, Toby.
We shunted coal cars for Henry and slate cars for Donald. He even shunted fruit and vegetable cars for Douglas.
And they had a whole scene with them filmed for Edward the Great that was cut from the final episode, in which they cheered Edward on during his race with Spencer. They got no appearances in seasons 9 and 10, only only to randomly reappear in Season 11's Gordon and the Engineer, and in fairly prominent roles too. It was a delightful surprise to see them again.
I didn't know they go on the inside line like that. I guess it's because of having an advanced controller like that.
It is a story where literally any characters could have been used for their roles, but the fact they opted for more obscure ones like Donald and Douglas instead of like James and Emily or something is really nice. Their final appearance in the model era would be in Season 12's Saved You, where a fallen tree blocks their path. And that's about it. Not that grand of a send-off, but at least we got to see them with CGI faces, albeit only for a few seconds.
We need Harvey.
Donald and Douglas' tenure in the model era of the TV series was consistently kind of bumpy, in my opinion. From the cancellation of their very first episode, to becoming inseparable in Season 6, to their gradual fade into obscurity, and then their brief re-emergence towards the end, Donald and Douglas feel like characters that the show occasionally struggled with. I feel they got to a point where they didn't exactly know what to do with them, so they just kind of faded away. But that's not to say that there weren't many highs with them. Season 3 in particular was excellent, with a great adaptation of Escape for Douglas, and the introduction of Donald's pet duck, Billy, which is something I wish they kept around, even if just as an occasional background gag. One thing that is undeniable about Donald and Douglas in the model series, though, is that their theme music is peak.
Yay!
The Fat Controller walked towards them. Douglas, with Donald's tender, waited with an innocent expression.
Ah, number 9. And why have you not taken the goods?
My tender is away, sir, so Doogie took it. See?
I see. Some defect, I presume? Now tell me, why did number 10 leave so